If you thought Elon Musk dropping nuclear bombs on Mars was a far-fetched idea, then hold your beer, because what we are about to cover in this video will blow your socks off. Of course, the Russians are always attempting to one-up the rest of the world in their ambitions, and that stretches to the 21st century space race as well. Arsenal Design Bureau, a subsidiary of the Russian space agency Roscosmos, has said that they are planning to send a nuclear plant to Mars on the space tag Zeus. Firstly, Zeus is designed to be running on nuclear power that can make it float in deep space for 4 years, which is much longer than the engines of SpaceX's Starship can. And secondly, it is important to see why the Russians are even planning to drop nuclear plants on the Red Planet. Ultimately, it's a dirty old planet with no signs of intelligent life. So, is there a bigger game at play? Stay tuned to the end of this video to know what this shocking plan of Russian space agency can actually mean for the future of space technology. From Venus to Jupiter and everything in between, humans are not leaving any stone unturned to see which planet could be probed and studied to answer the lingering questions in the back of our heads. Where did we come from? Where are we headed? And can we really move past the planet barrier and make the solar system our home? The broader goal to achieve through these answers is evidently related to the notion of human exploration of space. In the 21st century, the need to expand our civilization beyond our home planet is being felt by space organizations and agencies at a fever pitch, and why shouldn't it be? In addition to being an important stepping stone for human civilization, it is projected to be worth at least $1 trillion globally by the time we hit 2040. And this is exactly where the Russians are planning to hit gold before anybody else. With SpaceX, NASA, and CNSA being the global frontrunners to grab a piece of that Martian soil, Roscosmos is actually dropping a remote nuclear plant on the surface with the full intention to build a future base on the planet. Those who are still thinking that this is Russia again speaking in conjectures, we say, don't. Because Arsenal Design Bureau has already announced the proposal in the state-run news agency Sputnik. The space tugboat Zeus, named after the Greek god of the sky, is designed to travel huge distances in space and drop payloads on destinations like the Moon, then Venus, and finally the gas giant Jupiter. Or at least that was the existing list of destinations we knew till now, which, in the first glance, is nothing short of impressive. But going a leg ahead and expressing the desire to drop a nuclear plant on Mars surely makes them look ambitious. Zeus is designed to have a 500 kilowatt nuclear reactor on board that weighs around 22 tons, nearly thrice as much as an adult African elephant. If we are talking about dropping a nuclear plant with a similar capacity on the Martian soil, then it's important to pull up some interesting comparisons. Firstly, let's look at the US Martian rover Perseverance, which has been dropped on the Red Planet in the first quarter of 2021. It is also equipped with a nuclear reactor, which is basically a radioscope thermoelectric generator, or RTG, powered by about 10.6 grams of plutonium fuel. It will only provide a power output of 110 watts, which will subdue considerably each year by a certain percentage. But it will be enough to power the rover for at least 1.5 Mars years, with a probability to last about 14 Earth years, courtesy of its system design. So basically, when it comes to comparing basic power output, the Perseverance nuclear battery can produce enough power to charge your smartphone or laptop, and that seems to be enough for the rover to operate its due duties. Whereas a 500 kilowatt nuclear reactor could provide enough power to run an entire army unit with tanks, planes, and armament in action for more than a year without refueling, or at least enough to charge the S-Class Tesla car 5 times. In Earth numbers, it might sound a little underwhelming, but in an alien land, while trying to establish a nascent base from scratch, it will be exactly adequate. Secondly, let's come to the weight of both Perseverance and Zeus. We have already established that Zeus and the nuclear reactor will weigh up to 22 tons, which is equal to 3 African elephants, or a dozen 2009 Ford Taurus cars. Compared to that, Perseverance weighs 2,260 pounds, which is as heavy as a subcompact Chevy Spark. But all of these comparisons would be nothing in terms of the different objectives that they will be carrying. Perseverance will be trying to study the Martian soil, cruise around the Jezero crater, experiment with extracting oxygen from the soil, launch a helicopter, and dig for samples that will eventually be returned to Earth. And Zeus will be dropping the nuclear plant on the planet in preparation of building a base for future cosmonauts to camp and study the planet in person. This is basically Russia telling the USA that you and I are not the same, bro. Is Zeus the nuclear space tech we have been waiting for? Bluntly put, yes. This module will be a game changer for the Russians in the space race. Not only can it travel through space at breakneck speed, it will also haul astronauts and payloads from one planet to the other. Scheduled to take off for a 3-stop flight from Earth to Moon to Venus, and ultimately to Jupiter in 2030, Roscosmos is currently planning to shift the Mars nuclear mission before that. But no confirmed news has been released yet. Working on a shoestring budget compared to the US and China, the Russian scientists have been designing this model since 2010, with a goal to complete it within 2 decades. While the Jupiter launch certainly seems to be in sync with their original timeline, we are yet to see whether they would be able to make the deadline of the Mars mission if it takes place anytime in the current decade. Apart from the usual subjects in the space race, a number of other countries also have their eyes on this technology. As of now, a crewed mission to Mars would take about 3 years or more for a round trip. But using a nuclear-powered tugboat like Zeus would considerably reduce the time by more than a year. However, there is a dark side of this revolutionary technology, which has not been explored by any major agency as of yet. Apart from the space travel, the Zeus module can also be used to get a considerable military advantage. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. Coming back to the cost and utility of the Russian space program in the 21st century, it is quite inspiring to see that Russia spent less than 1/10 of what the US government allocated to NASA last year on its space program. And working within that, their space agency has recently announced massively ambitious plans for the next 10 years or so, including the launch of a Russian space station, crewed and uncrewed missions to the moon, and even the construction of a moon base in collaboration with China. But they certainly have a long way to go before deploying a nuclear-powered space tug to Mars to deliver a nuclear power plant, much alone build a crewed outpost there. But the aspiration exists, and maybe, with the proper political support, a solution will be found. What do you think about the crazy ambitious plans of Roscosmos? What if the Russians actually became the first Martian landers? What would that mean for the future of space exploration? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and smash the thumbs up button if you like this video. We'll see you again in another video about space, science, technology, and everything in between.